my pretties. Today we are looking at the Mandala Muse Oracle cards by Morgan Joanel. There are 56 cards in this deck. So this was a Kickstarter deck. Now, the cards themselves are quite big. As you can see, that's a massive stretch for me. Excuse the ink on my hands, guys. My ink exploded. So these are hard to shuffle for me for that reason. They're quite long. Now, the cards are also glossy. So they show up fingerprints real nice, real nice. They're thin and flexible, and the meanings are on the back. So you get the key word, whatever, the number, some explanation, a question or a journal prompt, and the chakra that it's associated with. So before I talk more about them, let me show you them with the rest of the cards I paired them with. So one of the cards, I should have waited until the ink came off, but Lord knows how long that's going to take. So this is the Pythonic Tarot. So for some reason, I just really wanted to pair this with witchy decks. Don't know why, I just did. The other deck that I paired it with is the Earthly Souls and Spirits Moon Oracle. So once, as you can see, another witchy deck. And that's just the way it turned out. Plus they've also got the same thing with they're kind of dark saturated colors that vibe with each other. So let's talk about this deck. So on the front, you've got the mandala with its color scheme and the keyword down below. So straight out the gate, I don't like the cardstock. I'm not a fan of glossy cards. They also feel sharp to shuffle. This one in particular is really tall, so it's very awkward. I didn't have a fun time shuffling it. In regards to how the image is on the front and the explanation on the back, that's fine. I don't mind that at all. It's in lieu of a guidebook because the explanations on the back are decent. So if it was a little more sparse, not enough information, I might be like, that's not enough. But I think this is plenty and it does the job. How do I feel about it? Okay, so how did these cards work together? I thought they worked really well together. So I basically just used this as the keyword for the pull, and then used these as clarifiers and just like filling out the message. So for instance, you have the word beyond with mindful and 7 of blades, and clarity with wish and queen of pentacles. So I thought they did read pretty well together. I loved the colors together. I thought they were really beautiful. They're quite moody and evocative and mysterious. And there is a sort of spiritual tone too, not just a witchy element. But I did enjoy working with these two decks together. The deck itself did take a while to come. I think the artwork wasn't complete when I ordered it, which is probably something I would avoid doing in the future. I might read from Sustainability while I pull the other two cards because I have to turn it around. Okay, so we've got Sustainability. We all have a responsibility for the mark we leave on Earth. What fingerprints are you leaving on the ones you love? Your family, your friends? What footprints on the environment? This mandala opens your heart to see the unsustainable ways in which you're living and interacting. This is an invitation to disconnect from anything likely to deplete your natural magic over a long period of time. Remember to be kind to yourself and others as you navigate through connections and disconnections. This is a mandala to strengthen balance within you, giving you the support you need to redirect the flow of energy in your life for long-term sustainability. The question or prompt is, what if things evolved? And the chakra that was associated with this card is the heart chakra. So I do feel the deck reads pretty well in terms of accuracy, but I did find that after reading with it quite a bit of the write-up sounded very same. It wasn't that varied. I just felt like, oh, I've heard these messages before. But there were some interesting topics in here. But I think this is just one of those decks where after I've played with it for a bit longer and had a bit more time to so I've gotten a taste of all of the cards in it, that I'm just going to pass it on. It's not one that's really got anything amazing for me to keep it in my collection. Yeah, it's just not there. There's not a guidebook, it's just a deck of cards. I don't love the cardstock. The imagery is fine. I don't hate this, but it doesn't really light my fire. It doesn't stoke my flames. It's fine, but it's just not anything amazing. And for me, there's just not enough in here to hang around. Like I don't see myself going for it at all in the future. I'll always pass it over for a different deck. So I am going to work with it a bit longer because, like I said, I've only been working with it for a week. I do find this is better with a question rather than just a daily, what's my message for today? I like to be like recently today, I used it in terms of pulling keywords for east, west, north, south. So, you know, like body, mind, spirit, heart. And I thought that was better. It needs a bit more structure and guidance for me. I guess you could also use it for meditation. You could just use the keyword in Vogue and then meditate on what if you showed up differently on that question, and then really focus on the chakra. So that might be something I'm going to try out this week. I just thought of it then. I'm like, oh yeah, I could use freedom as a state of mind and then really tap into my sacral chakra as I meditate on that, plus the word liberation. You know, so I think that's definitely something I'm going to try out this week. But once again, it's not enough for me to keep it. It's nice. It's a nice deck, and I will enjoy my time with it. And then when I'm done, I will pass it on. It's not going to take up permanent residency in my little cabinet of decks because, like I said, I'm almost out of space. I've got like one shelf left, so pretty much I can house 100 decks without having to buy more furniture. And it's not something I want to do. I can do it, but I just feel like if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. Like the furniture would have to be, I'd have to move it to my study / my children's playroom and put it on the bookshelves there, but because I cannot add any more furniture into my bedroom. So I'm like, well, if I'm doing that, like, what am I doing? It's a bit much. I know some people just love to have all these decks on hand, but I get overwhelmed. Like I just have this, like I've said before, I have this thing in me where I have to play with everything. If I haven't touched a deck in a year, I feel awful about it. I do sort of subscribe to like the Shintoism of objects having spirit and something left to linger on a shelf and not be touched. It's sort of like that's not great energy to have in my home. Possessions should be used and appreciated. Either it has to be useful or give you joy. And so that's why I think I will probably pass this one on. Let's move some of these cards back into view. So yeah, those were the cards I used with this deck that I got on Kickstarter. I hope you are having a spectacularly awesome morning, afternoon, or evening. And as always, stay wild, Star Child.